on Renovation Nation. A Hawaii resident brings eco-friendly building to the rainforest.
We're in the tropics right now. We're not in like a suburb of Boston.
Oh, now this is getting serious.
Uh-oh. We're in the tropics.
We're renovating his treehouse with guava, bamboo, and palm fronds, but he has some strange rules.
No measurements. Don't screw with measurements.
Throw away your tape measures. No more tape measures. All right. Okay. Tape measures. All right.
And to prevent him from getting too far out of line, I may have to keep him in one place.
Stand right there. Curl your toes back.
Oh! Then, in Rhode Island, a 19th century hotel gets a 21st century makeover with a wastewater recycling tank.
What do you think? Little sewage in the first thing in the morning? Bracing, eh?
And we're making new tables out of some seriously old timber.
This thing was growing before the Civil War, I bet. Our nation has a challenge. How do we renovate our homes in a way that's in sync with the planet? I'm Steve Thomas, and together we'll find the answers on Renovation Nation.
Today I'm in Hana, Hawaii, on the island of Maui. Local architect and author David Greenberg fell in love with his town over 30 years ago. And he splits his time between here and China, where he works as an environmental consultant promoting green construction and ecotourism.
1, 2, 3.
In his downtime, he builds tree houses. The majority of the building material he uses comes from the surrounding jungle.
Communing with nature is the most important thing in my life, and I think that it has kept me young. I'm like an old guy, and I feel like a little kid. I act like a little kid.
9 years ago, David built a home in the trees, a full-size and habitable treehouse here in Hana, but now it's in need of major repairs. Maui officials have deemed it unsafe and ordered it to be either torn down or rebuilt.
He was kind of hanging and shaking in the trees when it was windy.
Instead of tearing his treehouse down, he's keeping it green by rebuilding it and using as many materials as he can from his own backyard, the Hana rainforest. Today, I'll help him build a rooftop cabana, a ladder to access it, and a new sleeping area for guests. And hopefully, we'll keep this treehouse a part of Hawaii for many years to come.
I'm in the mountains just outside of Hana, Hawaii. Now, David Greenberg is an architectural designer and an urban planner. And he's developed this vision of rural communities living off the land, but residing in trees. He calls it the big beach in the sky. And he lives in a treehouse somewhere up on this hillside. Let's go find him. Okay, so past the airport, take a left, all the way up the road, till a dead end, stop sign, got that. And then there's this little path. I'm supposed to meet him on this path someplace.
Aloha.
Oh, there you are. That's quite a set of directions that you got there.
Welcome to the jungle.
Thank you.
It only gets worse from here.
Yeah. So this really is a jungle. I mean, this is like tropical rainforest, isn't it?
David owns 20 acres here in the Hana rainforest, and he built his treehouse right on the edge to be as close to nature as possible.
You're too old to build tree houses. Didn't anybody tell you that?
Well,
Didn't you get over that?
no.
Okay, that's a good answer.
No.
Wow.
My second treehouse, actually my third treehouse. I built 3 of them here and 3 of them in China.
David shows me to the treehouse, where some students from abroad have been helping him rebuild.
Good morning.
This is Steve.
Good morning.
These are a whole bunch of workers. There's a lot of people from Argentina here. They're coming out here and helping me for like...
To live in the treehouse.
To live in the treehouse, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
When he's not staying here, David likes to share the treehouse living experience by renting it out to eco-tourists who are searching for a new way to get in touch with nature.
That will eventually be a dining table, and it'll have a propane stove. There's no electricity here. I don't believe in electricity. I think electricity takes you away from nature. There'll be a little solar.
Wait a minute.
A little solar.
Propane doesn't take you away from nature?
No. If you turn on a light switch, it just takes away the nature.
So
Listen to the
electric
radio.
lights is what you're
Electric
objecting
anything.
Although David and the treehouse seek harmony with nature, they definitely weren't in harmony with the local building department.
See these 3 trees, these 4 trees?
Yeah.
Was just balanced, teetering greatly. Then the building department came in, they caught me. And they came in, they said, you either tear this down or you make it legal and permitted. So they made me put all these kind of things in here, which I don't really need, but that was the law. So I covered up with camouflage, but I'm not fooling anybody, huh?
No, I'm just soaking it all in. I'm soaking.
Yeah.
This is like the ultimate boyhood fantasy, but realized in a what's supposed to be a grown man, right?
No, I told you I never grew up. We used to have a nice little rickety stairway up here, but the county made me put in this, like, you can go like this and you don't fall down. This is actually a legal stairway.
The gall of those guys enforcing building codes.
Yeah.
David shows me the screened-in bedroom, which allows for maximum cross-flow of wind, eliminating any need for air conditioning. And I get the sense of why he's so in love with this type of building.
All screened in, you can see the sky, it's great.
Yeah, and the farthest you have to
That's
walk
cool.
for food is the banana tree right over there.
David's got grand plans to build a new cabana onto this 2-story renovation, so we head upstairs to his roof to check out where it's going to be built.
This is going to be, as I said, a great stairway. Like maybe tomorrow.
Oh man, look at the view.
I'm going to build a little jungle hut right up here on top, out of bamboo, above everything, with a view of the ocean and the stars.
I'm beginning to get David's vision, but if we're going to save this treehouse, we've got to get to work. The first project is the new cabana. David takes me into the rainforest to forage for our building materials and to meet up with a few of our helpers.
Now we're gonna cut ourselves a living roof. No stinking shingles for this treehouse, right?
Right.
So,
Hello, Matias.
Matias?
Yes.
You guys are from Argentina?
Argentina, yes.
Augusto?
Nice to meet you.
From
Argentina, Buenos Aires.
Buenos Aires. Nice town. Good steak, good Malbec. What's the plan?
Plan is to get some palms from high up and
Well, I
from
get
below
that.
and everywhere.
But hey, we're on a mission here.
Okay, let's do it.
We're searching for palm fronds to use as shingles for the cabana instead of traditional roofing materials.
Kevin, you're kind of the foreman here.
Yeah, I'm helping out.
How do you keep this wild guy in check?
It's hard. It's real hard. He's a handful.
Yeah, I know. These are coconut palms.
These are coconut palms, and you know, maybe we'll have a coconut later.
While David's focus shifts to lunch, the rest of us get to work.
Here's a frond that's already
yeah,
down.
we already got one down.
Palm fronds are a plentiful resource here in Hawaii. Still, we'll use any fallen fronds if they're in good shape, so we don't have to cut them from the trees.
The way these roofs work, you wouldn't think that this would actually keep the water out,
No, but the way you intertwine them, it does.
but if you layer them up enough,
Right,
they will shed water.
right. And if you tie them right, they won't get blown away in the wind.
It'll be a green, all-natural roof. There's no manufactured materials, no travel to get the product here, and minimal labor. In other words, the embodied energy used is virtually zero. As we cut, it's just us and Mother Nature out here, and we're on a roll until she decides to take over.
Oops. You got hung up. Look out, I'm gonna pull this down.
Mother Nature's pushed back, and David's tools might not be up for the fight.
This tree right here.
Coming up, David's approach to renovating is a little unorthodox.
How do you work with him?
Oh, it's hard. It's real hard. You don't.
How do you keep him pinned down?
It's hard.
Guy's all over the place. His mind is sparking in a million. Here he comes.
Here he goes.
I'm here in Hana, Hawaii, where David Greenberg is rebuilding his green treehouse. Deemed unsafe by local authorities, David is using all natural materials from the surrounding rainforest to rebuild the existing structure. While cutting down palm fronds for his treehouse's cabana roof, I found out his tools weren't up to the task.
Yikes. Let me grab some tape and we'll fix this because we'll need it.
The tape is as it's in the house.
The guy's totally nuts.
He's crazy.
Found the tape.
How do you work with him?
Oh, it's hard. It's real hard. You don't.
How do you keep
can
him
see.
pinned down?
It's
The
hard.
guy's all over the place. I mean, his mind is sparking in a million. Here he
Here
comes.
he comes.
Found the tape.
Found the tape. Did they warn you that I was, very fussy about my tools?
I got a lot of warnings.
You got a lot of warnings.
We get back to work, but David has other ideas, namely meditation.
This is my Buddha reclining position.
All right, time to go back to work, pal.
Yeah.
Enough lying in your Zen position.
Who's got the machete? Who's the good with the machete? Okay, lop it there. Come on. We got to do this fast.
Be careful. Here, I'll do it.
Okay, wait a second.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, wait a second. We got a real doer here.
I'm sort of starting to get how this system works here. You do the talking and somebody else does the working, right?
That's the best way.
It took you this long to figure that out. That's what I want to know.
Living roof. Natural roof. Nice and slow.
Now that we've finished gathering our materials, we head back to the treehouse. We meet up with Matt and Jordan, more of David's crew.
David's very flamboyant in his descriptions of things.
Oh, yeah.
And I got a feeling that that doesn't always translate to sound structure.
Yeah.
So it's the unfortunate job of you gentlemen to actually
Figure it out.
figure it out. It's like a cabana sitting up here on the roof.
Yeah, it's going to be open style. It's going to be posts in the corners. We're going to have a bed system right here in the middle. And
Thatched
we're going
roof.
We're going to cross member with the bamboo.
For the corner post of the cabana, we'll be using timber from the guava tree, an abundant resource in this forest. For the bed system and roof, we'll be using bamboo for its strength and flexibility.
This place is very damp, very, very moist here in the jungle. Any rainfall at all turns this place into a sponge. So, which is why everything looks so dilapidated and old.
So what do you have to start with here? What's this here? Is this temporary? Is this a temporary wall structure or what?
That is what we were determining. I believe
Oh,
we
this
wanted
was here when you guys came.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
So you didn't put this up?
No.
Well, the first issue I see is that you've got a roof that's going to wear out. In fact,
Yep.
it's already cracking here.
Yep.
Whatever you do up here, you're going to have to do it so that you can remove this structure to replace the roof.
Yeah. I'm thinking almost temporary style structure, temporary attachments. It's built in a tree, so you have trees pulling on it and growing also. They aren't staying still either. So tree houses, I would imagine, you have to accommodate for things moving and stuff. You have to leave tolerances a little bigger.
So the strategy is to build this little hut on top of it, lash it down so it doesn't blow off, because at some point they're going to have to take it off and re-roof it. So all we can do is build on what we've got and try to make what we do professional.
While Matt and Jordan remove the temporary wall structure to make way for our more sturdy one, David, Kevin, and I head back out into the forest in search of guava trees for a cabana posts.
What I would do is I'd make a little cut here and then go like that.
Got it.
Okay, I'm gonna let you do it. Perfect, perfect.
What's the total height of this structure, do you think, going to be?
Like 8 something.
Really? To the peak?
To the top is 8 something, yeah.
We've got the rough measurements, and now we head up to the treehouse with a freshly cut guava log.
We could notch a corner so it'll fit right into this joist.
I would just go right on the side.
Yeah. We can tie in with some lags through that too.
Okay, can I get out of the way now?
Get that out of
Yeah.
there. You want this to go far out of the
Let me
way?
get out of the way.
We start with the guava timber support posts.
We just made a notch, and this is going to bolt onto the side of the deck.
We attach the posts to the side of the existing structure, and this should provide necessary reinforcement.
I think the lashing and the roof is going to be what's holding the structure up and making it sturdy. And the lags are going to help hold it down to the existing roof.
Yeah, that's as
So
good
the
as
wind won't
anything.
carry it away with a light breeze.
No,
It'll
I
take
get
a
it,
good
I get
strong
it.
wind
It's
to
as
lift
good
it
as
away.
it's as good as anything on this.
We have to check back in with David, and he's changing things as he goes along.
And it goes from there to there.
You want to go like 8.6?
Oh, that's way too high. What are you doing up there? No, you're way too high. Problem is, this is the prevailing wind.
Yeah.
And the prevailing wind will just take it away. You can't slope
I'm
it
not going
that
to
way.
take away what we build, pal.
We're in the tropics right now. We're not in like a suburb of Boston.
Oh, now this is getting serious.
We're in the tropics. Hold this.
Now listen,
Tight. Hold that tight. Okay, yeah.
I just built a building to withstand 120-knot winds
Where?
in Maine, where eagles soar just 20 feet above my head without flapping their wings. How do they do that? Because there's so much wind. So how do we build buildings there? Strong!
We could be in trouble with this renovation, as David's building techniques are getting out of hand.
Cut it at this point
Well,
right
let's take
here.
some measurements, you think? Or you...
No measurements. Don't screw with measurements. Just 7 feet 8 inches. And that's where the nail goes. 7 feet 8 inches. Someone put a nail there and then we lash
You
it.
gotta go way higher than that.
But with that has to be level. Someone put a level here. This has to be level.
That has to be
Someone put a level. Does anyone get a level?
The thickest,
Chaos. Absolute chaos.
Coming up, David's way of building gets even more unconventional.
That one will go 6'8". This one will go 6'2".
6'2" down here, Dave.
That's where I want it. 6'2". That's where I want it. That's where I want it. Okay?
For more about bamboo, check out planetgreen.com/RenovationNation.
I'm in Hana, in the Hawaiian Islands, helping David Greenberg renovate his eco-friendly treehouse. His passion for green living has led us to harvest local building materials like guava timber and bamboo for a rooftop cabana, as well as palm fronds for the thatched roof we're installing. But we've discovered that David has his own idea of how to build, and it doesn't involve precise measurements.
I think that we've got to have a little bit lower here. 7'6". No, I mean 6'8". Oh, actually, make that one a 6'8". This one will go maybe 6'2".
6'2" down here, Dave.
That's where I want it. 6'2". That's where I want it. That's where I want it. Okay?
8 feet 2 inches, 8 feet 3 inches is 9 feet. It's all the same form. Doesn't really matter.
Because that way,
Listen.
that way the
Hold on.
all day long.
This man has spent his whole life building tree houses and getting away with it. We all have something to learn. His job is to articulate his crazy vision. And our job is to have fun building it. We agreed?
Oh, yeah.
Are you guys buying that?
Yeah.
All right. He's a nut, but he's our nut.
Thank you.
Yes!
And to loosen everyone up, one more rule.
Throw away your tape measures. No more tape measures. All right.
Okay.
Tape measures. All right.
Okay.
We've given up our levels and tape measures, but there's still no convincing David.
Right, a little higher, a little higher, a little higher. There! Perfect.
There, that's perfect.
Perfect. Okay, lash the sucker.
Lashing is a form of fastening two pieces of building material together without nails, screws. So now we've got the roof structure taking place. These will all get lashed together like this. And then on top of this will go those palm fronds, and that will be somewhat watertight. Not completely watertight, but that'll provide the nice roof.
One palm frond coming up.
With daylight fading and no electricity, we'll have to pick this project up tomorrow. As our new day begins, we prepare to start fresh. Day 2 at the Boys Club Treehouse. Gentlemen,
It's gonna happen.
it's gonna happen. Hand me your tape measures.
Oh, yes.
We're doing this early. We figured it out.
The plan for today is to create a sitting area on the second level of the treehouse and a ladder to access the third floor rooftop cabana.
We're just gonna construct a landing down here. And up the left side, we're gonna have a little ladder staircase accessing the roof. Right in behind the ladder, it'll be a nice little laying area.
And then once you get down to the landing here, how do you get from the landing down to the deck?
From the landing to the deck, we're actually going to cut a giant pancake. It's about 11 inches thick, and that'll become the base step at the bottom of the ladder.
So that'll be out of one of the trees on the
Yeah,
property.
that'll be out of one of the trees here.
Kevin, David, and I head out into the rainforest on a mission to find the perfect step. A few trees have already been cut to use for other parts of the treehouse, and we'll try to harvest from these to make the most out of the remaining wood.
This one, this could make a nice step over here. It's actually very interesting.
You do have a lot of foot area here.
I think it's cool. I
like
think
it?
it's like really cool. Let's do it.
Okay. All right.
Our son. Ah!
To fit under the access ladder to the roof, we cut 11 inches from the stump.
I think this is pretty cool.
This is awesome. Look at the design.
Yeah. This is a very special step.
And the best part, we were able to use the leftover tree stump to create it. We head back to the treehouse with David's new step. Matt and Jordan are finishing up the landing area that'll also serve as a sitting area.
This thing is not only part of a stairway, but it's part of yet another bed for a guest. Everything is multi-use.
We all get down to work on the ladder, except David, who can't stay quiet for long.
What are you doing, man?
Because you're going up the other
David.
side because you're not watching what you're doing.
You're
You're going
rude.
right up through there. Because this thing going reverse, you go down there and you line it up to do it right. I'm going to fire him.
Doc is paying. Oh, you're not paying him. I forgot. David, stand right there. Okay, now curl your toes back. I'm serious. Stand there. Curl your toes back. Okay, good.
on the right.
All right, curl it back.
Ow! Is that the impact driver?
Now that's next. You're not a good boy. Curl your toe back.
Oh, God. Ow! Ow!
I finally figured out a way to make David settle down.
I have a lot to learn about working with people. And I work the best kind of with myself normally, because I just have a kind of a crazy way of communicating sometimes, and no patience.
With the ladder finally in place, David's changed his tune.
You did a really good job, Matthew. I'm really impressed. It is really sturdy. It's the first sturdy thing I've ever seen in one of my tree houses.
All righty then. One more step.
That is really cool. I really like that.
He's still like a big kid, you know?
David's mission of promoting sustainable ruralism led him to build tree houses. When his Hana treehouse was in disrepair, he decided to take action and renovate it. We added a rooftop cabana using the greenest materials around: guava timber, bamboo, and palm fronds, all from his own renewable backyard, the Hana rainforest. Well, gentlemen, thank you very, very much. It was a pleasure working with all of you.
Thank you very much.
And David, don't ever change. I don't think you will. And good luck to all of you.
Thank you.
Mahalo, all of you. Stay in touch. All right. Coming up, in Rhode Island, a historic hotel is getting a modern overhaul.
What big machines do you think they'll let us drive?
Now time for a renovation riddle. Which one of these things can bamboo also be used for? A, electric wire insulation, B, brick mortar, C, concrete rebar, or D, all of the above? The answer when Renovation Nation returns. Now the solution to the renovation riddle. Before the break, we asked, which one of these things can bamboo also be used for? The answer is C, concrete rebar. One of the first uses of bamboo as rebar was studied as early as 1950 in Clemson, South Carolina. For more quizzes like this one, go online to planetgreen.com. Today I'm in Little Compton, Rhode Island, to visit the Stonehouse Hotel. Originally a private residence built in 1854, the seaside estate has been a historic vacation destination for many years. And now, Zach Miller and Craig Pershotti are part of a group turning it into an eco-friendly hotel.
Bring the window height, the window head.
In line with, yeah.
Same height.
But since the stone house is an historic building, renovations must keep the original aesthetics, which limits green options.
It's been a struggle to pull off all of the elements of doing sustainable development, green projects, and the historic aspect at the same time.
Nevertheless, Zach, Craig, and their partners are determined to push the envelope.
I think there's a misconception that green building techniques as well as historic preservation can't go hand in hand. But in essence, if you step back a minute and you become very thoughtful of the process, it certainly is something that works extremely well together.
Today, I'll help Zach and Craig by installing a series of green systems. We'll drill holes for geothermal heating and cooling. I'll check out an unobtrusive wastewater treatment system that provides clean water for irrigation. And finally, I'll transform reclaimed timbers into furniture for the hotel.
Look at this thing.
I kind of like it. With history at stake, this project is all about aiming high while keeping a low profile. Here in Little Compton, Rhode Island, the Stone House is a well-known historic landmark. It's been run as an inn for many generations, and it needed a full-on renovation. A couple of young guys bought it. They're renovating it, restoring it, and they're going green, deep green. Gentlemen, hey, Steve Thomas.
Hey, Steve, you need help out?
You know,
Hey, Steve.
at a certain point, you take all the help you can get. So tell me the story. I mean, it's a historic structure, a building that is well known to the community here in Little Compton.
Sure is. And believe me, we've had to listen to quite a few people have their input.
I sense understatement here. Well, show me around the building.
Great.
I've actually stayed here.
Yep.
It's been 25 years. It's still the old stone house.
With so much history here, Zach and Craig are preserving as much of the original building as possible.
Well, you notice we've saved some historic fabric for part of the historic renovation was not to take out anything unnecessarily.
I love these big, deep window wells.
Historical fabric refers to the intact building features from the original structure. Keeping these in place complies with preservation guidelines and contributes to the integrity of the building. And having stayed here before, I know how beautiful this place can be.
Can we go upstairs?
Please.
I know there's this really great cupola all the way up.
All the way up, and no elevator.
Not a bad view.
Yep.
This is a cool project, and what I love about it is that you're doing historical renovation, you're doing full-on restoration, and you're weaving it in with green elements. I mean, serious green systems. To get the stone house on that path, there's a lot of projects on tap, and my preference is to start large. What big machines do you think they'll let us drive?
As long as we don't hit the main road, we should be good.
Let's go find the biggest machine and see if they'll let us drive it. How about that?
The biggest machine I can find is this $500,000 drilling rig, and it's being used to bore holes into the ground for our first project, the geothermal heating and cooling system. This system will use underground tubes to draw heat from the ground and transfer it into the house for warmth, and take heat from the house and transfer it into the ground for cooling. So the first step in any geothermal system is to drill holes in the ground, and for that we've got Jackie and Dave, who are a husband and wife drilling team. How do you end up being a husband and wife drilling team?
I've been doing this for about 20 years now, and we decided that we should try to do it on our own.
And you just go around New England drilling holes?
Drilling and blasting, yes.
Sounds like fun. Drilling holes in the ground and blowing stuff up.
It's a blast. Can't beat it.
Well, let's fire it up and see how it works.
All right, sounds great.
Dave fires up the rig and starts drilling. The top layer of earth is pretty soft and easy to get through.
So do you know what you're drilling through now? Just dirt from the looks of it, isn't it?
Just sand and some sand and gravel.
But the surface layer is actually too soft, and after drilling down only 20 feet, we have to stop. The hole is collapsing in on itself, and Dave wants to put this PVC pipe or casing down into the hole to keep it from caving in.
It's gotta be small.
Too small, yeah, well, Yeah, well, the hole collapsed, I think, a little bit before, you know.
We're not in time. The hole's filling in too fast.
What's the problem?
Existing conditions lead us to get a larger diameter bit so we can actually get the casing to slide down into the bedrock.
So you've drilled a hole,
Yes,
but as you drill, it just collapses in on itself.
that's correct, yep.
So you want to change that bit to a bigger bit,
Yes,
drill it, and then really quickly stick that pipe down there so it doesn't collapse, right?
as quick as we can, yes, before it
Right.
happens again.
Now we have a tough decision to make. Dave either has to go and fetch the bit, or we have to stop for the day, and that'll put us behind schedule. Coming up, will Dave's bigger bit be big enough?
A ½ inch makes the difference.
All the difference in the world.
If you want to find out more about the products and projects you see on today's show, go to planetgreen.com.
Here in Little Compton, Rhode Island, Craig Pershotti and Zach Miller are heading up a group that's restoring and renovating the historic stone house, which was built in 1854. We've started drilling wells for geothermal heating and cooling, but the rig didn't have the right size drill bit. So Dave decided to go back to his yard to get the right bit so we could stay on schedule.
So this little drill bit cost you a 2-hour round trip, huh?
Yes, it did.
Well, now we've got everything, so let's drill the hole.
Okay,
Sounds great.
good.
First, we have to drill through the soft top layer of the earth, which is about 20 feet deep.
Once you get to rock, it's not going to collapse, and then you can keep drilling.
That's correct.
What diameter is that one?
This one's a 5-inch,
The other one is 3-inch?
4.5.
The other is 4.5?
That's correct, yep.
A ½ inch makes the difference?
All the difference in the world.
We put the bigger bit to the test, and it drills easily enough through the first 20 feet of earth.
So right now you're just going through the topsoil.
That's correct.
You're not into rock yet.
Not yet.
So that's why it's going so fast. I mean, it cuts through it like butter.
Very much, yep.
Now we can slip in the PVC pipe, or casing. That'll keep the hole from caving in, while we drill down the additional 80 feet we need.
Straight in. Yep. Drop that right down.
We cut off the excess PVC pipe and exchange the large 5-inch drill bit for a smaller 3-inch bit, which fits inside the pipe and allows us to finish the hole. When we're done, contractor Brian Lawrence, who's overseeing the geothermal installation, wants to make sure we've dug deep enough.
Did we get 100 feet?
Yeah, you got 100 plus. He gave you a bonus.
Extra heat.
Yeah. How many of these bores do you need to heat and cool this building?
33.
33.
Yes.
An average home can require from 6 to around a dozen or more bores, depending on where it is in the country. But a big hotel like the Stonehouse requires a lot more from the amount of heat it needs to take from the ground. Dave and Jackie finish the other 32 on their own. I walk out to the main yard with Brian to help him unroll the copper ground loops and go over the ins and outs of the geothermal system.
Let me see if I understand it. You pump refrigerant into the ground, and it picks up the ground temperature, which is 55 degrees. It comes out of the ground at 55 degrees, it goes through a compressor. The compressor squishes it, compresses it, and the magic of refrigerant gas is that now it's 100 degrees. Am I right so far?
Right, we're compressing the refrigerant.
And it doubles the temperature.
We're increasing the temperature, correct.
Then it goes through basically a radiator unit, goes through a bunch of a fan coil unit. You blow air through it. It sucks the heat off of that 100 degrees, uses the heat to heat the room, and it cools down again, and it goes back into the ground and picks up 55 degrees. And then you just reverse that whole cycle when you want to air condition.
Exactly.
You suck the heat out of the room and dump it into the ground.
Correct.
But heat isn't the only thing the Stonehouse will be returning to the earth. Zach meets me out back to show me how they're recycling the hotel's wastewater.
So the first stage of the treatment process is the separation of the solids and liquids, which happens in this very large septic tank.
So all the toilets, the sinks, everything else, showers from both buildings flow into here.
Yep.
These are, how big are these tanks?
I believe they're about 8 or 10 feet tall and 8 feet or so wide.
This system uses two large tanks. The green stacks are ports that allow for general inspection and access. I know the system isn't operational yet, and I want to get a closer look. I'd suggest we crawl down in there, but
It's probably got only about an inch of water, so we could probably do that if you'd like. And it's fresh water.
What do you think? Little sewage in the first thing in the morning? Bracing, eh? I say, you're a member of the Polar Bear Club.
I am.
Take a dive.
It's the first of the year when we do that, though. It's a little
Well,
too
you know.
premature.
So this is some kind of a filter?
This is a filtering system so that when it goes through the next stage of processing, it doesn't have, toilet paper or shoes or kids' toys or whatever.
We can use our imagination. It's okay.
The second tank works a little differently.
This is the same thing? This is a similar...
Well, that's actually the grease trap.
Oh.
Since we're operating 2 restaurants on site, we have to separate the grease.
Large amounts of grease will damage the main treatment system. So the kitchens have their own tank that filters it out before it goes through the first filtration process.
So all of the sewage flows into those great big concrete tanks. The solids drop to the bottom. Anaerobic bacteria starts breaking the solids down. The liquid floats at the top. That gets pumped into these filters, right?
It's called a biomat. You set up an environment so that all of the microbes can do their work with the bacteria that you're trying to get out of the water.
The effluent is slowly sprayed over these trickle filters, where microbes continue ridding the water of the organic matter. But I'm wondering about the final destination of the water.
And so the water coming out of these filters will be pretty clean.
It will be pretty clean, but it has a last stage of filtration to go through.
Where's that?
It's in our yard.
Not exactly the answer I was expecting. Releasing the water into the yard before it's 100% filtered could turn this lawn into a giant cesspool. Coming up, Zach comes clean about the Stonehouse's water filtration system.
So you could drink it at that point, right?
You may not want to, but I believe that's the engineering of it.
I'm in Little Compton, Rhode Island, where business partners Zach Miller and Craig Bisciotti are renovating the historic Stonehouse Hotel.
Is he bringing the ceiling for the restaurant?
Not today.
They're turning this 19th century landmark into a state-of-the-art green hotel. So far, we've drilled holes for geothermal heating and cooling, and now we're finishing a tour of the wastewater treatment system with a 3-step filtration process. The third step is actually releasing the partially purified water into the ground.
We've taken these 2 first stages of treatment, and then we disperse it onto the property. And that's where the water entering into the environmental system, again, is critical.
It's called a leach field. The semi-purified water, or effluent, is released into the soil, where microbes continue to consume the bad bacteria. As the effluent moves through the Earth's pores, conditions become unfavorable to the bacteria, which are removed as the water percolates down. It's a green approach because the whole process uses biology to complete the filtration.
The bottom line is that as the water flows downhill toward the ocean, it is absolutely clean. So the pond you see down here with all the geese in it is not going to get polluted by the activities in this hotel. So you could drink it at that point, right?
You may not want to, but I believe that's the engineering of it.
Cool. Nice system.
By installing this unobtrusive wastewater treatment system, Zach and Craig are able to effectively recycle thousands of gallons of wastewater each year and still protect the surrounding environment. Along with the recycling wastewater, Zach and Craig are also recycling old structural beams into furniture. Zach brings me to the west lawn to meet the man in charge of the project.
We've got Ben Randall here, who's our
Hey, Steve.
on-site furniture maker today.
So what are you building? I mean, when furniture, you're not going to build all the furniture for the place out of the old timber.
These are the structural members from the barn, and the focus of the barn is the restaurant. So we thought, what better object to make than the restaurant tables?
To turn these old beams into tables, first we'll need to split them in half. And for that, we brought in a professional sawyer.
Steve Thomas?
Hi, Dennis Hoover.
Good to meet you, Dennis. You ready to mill some lumber?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Dennis Hoover owns and operates a portable sawmill. It's often easier and greener to bring the mill to the wood instead of trucking the wood to the mill and then back. As we finish sawing the first beam, we're not sure if the inside is rotten or sound. So this is the moment of truth.
This is the best moment right here.
This is the one. This is what keeps you coming back.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be disappointed with this piece.
This thing was growing before the Civil War, I bet. This whole forest along the southern pine grew from Virginia all the way down through Texas. And now only 3% of those original stands are still alive. So not only are you looking back in time, but you're looking at something that doesn't even exist anymore.
Wow. When
Yeah.
you put it that way, I feel like it's even more special.
This stuff is gold.
Yeah.
Absolute gold.
Great.
Before we can start making furniture, Ben needs to clean up the wood, which he does at his workshop. Returning later, ready to build.
Ben, you ended up taking all the planks back to your shop. You ran them through a surface planer to get them equal thickness. And you ran them through a joiner to get the edges nice and cleaned up.
Yep.
And now we're ready to glue up the tabletop. These are called biscuits, right? Now, biscuits are little semicircles of pressed wood that expand when you put glue on them. You slide them into these slots and glue them up, and once it's glued together.
It's like having a fastener in the middle of the piece of wood.
Yeah, and it helps you line it up. It really strengthens the joint. And you got to work really fast when you glue it up.
You really do. I hope you're ready.
I am ready.
Speed.
How's that?
Just make sure those slots are aligned. You in?
Yep, I am.
Okay. I think we did it, Steve. That's good time.
After we let the glue set for a couple hours, we're ready to take the clamps off and start the next step. Hand planes will smooth the tabletop while giving it a handmade look. And all we need is a little elbow grease.
Shall we sneak a peek at what it's going to look like when it's done?
I think so. You do the honor. Be a little more liberal than that. There we go.
Ooh, that's pretty. Look at that. Man. Well, I think it looks good. I like the rustic look. Now, you have any more of those timbers out there?
I think there are a few.
Let's go steal some.
Sounds good.
You put them on your truck, I'll put them on mine.
All right, I'm in.
Don't tell anybody.
Let's go.
Craig and Zach are doing a significant restoration to a historic structure. And by using inconspicuous, eco-friendly systems, they're showing that going green can be sensitive to history and the environment at the same time.
It's going to look spectacular. It really is. And I really admire the fact that you guys have gone green and that you're taking on a really gutsy project. I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
This is a project I love. It's renovation, it's restoration, and it's green. And it's going to restore a landmark and keep it sound for the next 100, 150 years.
Well, we appreciate your thoughtfulness out here in the last couple of days, and glad you can see it with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to have you here.
We'll be back. I stayed here before with my wife, and I'll come back when it's all done.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Take care.
Take care.
It's great meeting all these people all over the country building and renovating green, and I'm proud to be part of it. We'll see you next time on Renovation Nation.